In this video, I'm going to be replacing the fuel filter on this 2004 Chevy Trailblazer Extended with a 4.2 liter inline 6-cylinder engine. So I'm going to be pulling the fuel pump relay, which is this one right here, number 41, which is that right there, which is this right here. Pull that. And we'll crank this thing over, let it use up any fuel that's already in the line that's been primed. Let it crank for a few seconds, let it use up all the fuel, and that'll get rid of all the pressure in the fuel line. So we'll be able to remove that fuel filter without any of that gas like spraying in our face. Okay, turn the key. I did not hear the fuel pump kick on, so we're good. There we go. So it's no fuel because the fuel pump is not working currently, so we're in good shape. Now let's get underneath this thing, disconnect that old fuel filter and replace it. So I've got an AutoZone fuel filter, that's the part number, and here's the shiny new filter. There are no clips on this thing, so we'll have to reuse what is on the vehicle already. So the fuel filter is located on the front of the fuel tank underneath the vehicle on the driver's side. I can tell obviously that this thing has been replaced before because of the zip ties. Whoever owned this vehicle before me broke the strap that holds the filter in place. Anyway, just pointing out the obvious that this has been replaced before. That'll have implication here later in the video. You'll see in just a minute. I'm using these pliers here to try to pinch these little white clips. I'm trying to get the tabs out of the black connector there so that I can pull the fuel line off of the filter. I actually like this design better than the threaded connectors that are on some vehicles.
That's gas, folks. Sure hope there aren't any sparks. Let me show you something! There was about $30 worth of gas right there. Let's try and get these tabs off this nipple.
Okay, so I mentioned a second ago that this has been replaced before and there was an implication for that. So I'm actually taking this fuel filter off and replacing it the exact way I see it as it's sitting right here. The only trouble is the previous owner put the fuel filter on backwards, and I didn't catch it until I had already put it all back together. I kind of noticed something was a little bit up. It just wasn't quite fitting right in that bracket.
Get this lined up. There we go. Got gas running down my arm. That was messy. I believe this is on backwards. I'm pretty sure it's on backwards because that out should be this one right here going towards the engine. This one is going from the fuel tank. So this is coming out of the fuel tank. It should go through the filter and then out towards the engine. I need to spin this around this way, which makes sense because now this particular pipe goes in this notch right here. That makes more sense. Just making sure these plastic tabs get seated properly. Make sure the connection's good because I don't want this thing popping off in the middle of a drive somewhere. Okay, that's not all right. Okay, I believe that is correct. This ought to do the trick. Yeah, that fits so much better into that bracket. Yeah, whoever owned this before me did not install this correctly. You gotta read the parts, folks. And you gotta use your brain. Okay, We'll put the fuel pump relay back in, turn the key, see if we get any leaks. And if we don't, we'll fire this puppy up and hopefully this thing runs better, because fuel is flowing through this the way it's supposed to be now, instead of backwards. Put that back. Now we'll turn the key. I'll turn it off and turn it back on a couple of times. Prime the pump. Prime the system. Turn the key several times to prime the system. I don't see any leaks. All right, let's crank it.
So that's a fuel filter replacement on this 04 Trailblazer. Obviously righting a big wrong by putting this fuel filter in the proper direction. Sometimes when you go to replace a part, you'll put it back on the same way it was sitting on the vehicle when you took it off, and sometimes that's just not right. So really need to put a good down payment on paying attention and putting these parts on the way they're supposed to go. Well, I sure hope you found this video helpful. Well, that's going to wrap up this video. If you're interested in any merch, check out the link below. As always, thanks for watching. God bless. Be sure and hit that like switch on your way out. We'll see you next time.